G'day, it's Damned here. I hope that you've done something nice with your family today and that you're not neglecting them all to run away and code all day. You can do it for a little while, but you've got to go hang out with your family and your friends and people that you care about. Right, so back into our character sheet. What we noticed in the last one was that we've got a frame from CoreRPG sitting over this part of the sheet, which is not a big problem, but it's also overlapping this part here a little bit as well, so we need to address that. So we're going to have to dive into the CoreRPG code to have a look at what's going on there. So I'm in the record car over here, and yes, these are some of the things that take time to learn. You've got to go and learn a little bit about CoreRPG and how it works, how it's built up, how it's layered to really get the most out of this tool. But you do it in little bits, you don't have to go in there and learn everything all at once, and that's part of the purpose of these videos, is to sort of show you my process of working my way through this. So anyway, we've got these sub-windows. We've got main, abilities, inventory, and notes, and we can see that they've also got, so that the sub-window's got a name, it's got some dimensions, and it's also got a class. So the name is, every object needs to have a name. It doesn't have to have a name, it can be unnamed, but it works a hell of a lot better if you name everything, particularly when someone wants to extend or build on your work. These bounds give us basically top left, the left position, the position from the top, so this is 0 pixels offset from the left, 65 pixels offset from the top, -1 pixels means it's from the right hand edge, and -20 pixels from the bottom edge. And class, charsheet main, that's basically another window class that's going to sit in there. And what we'll actually see is that all 4 of these actually have the same bounds. They all sit on top of each other. And basically one of these is visible at any one time and the other ones are hidden. So anyway, we need to think about these. I want a main subwindow. I don't want abilities, I want inventory, and I want notes. So I'm going to create 3 subwindows, and I'm going to create a control object to delete this one called abilities. Let's see how we do that in the Ruleset Wizard. So I've got a subwindow object here, drag that onto my character sheet. I'm going to try and line it up. So I'm going to line the top edge. I can actually zoom in, control scroll to zoom in, but I want to line this up. So my top edge lines up with the top edge of those frames, and now I'm going to use the arrow keys to nudge that along, and I'm going to stretch it wider, remembering that I've got tabs over here. What have we got here? 371. Let's make it 370 even, and its X position's 121. Let's make that 120, give it some round numbers. Y position is 91, well that can't be helped because that's the position that this pixel starts, but I can zoom out a bit. I'm going to make this longer. In fact, I'm going to make it all the way down to basically the bottom of the edge of this graphic here. I've just eyeballed that one in this situation, but I reckon it's going to be pretty close. And I want to give this a name of main. And I'm going to join or replace. I'm going to replace because I don't want the content that was in there. So we'll replace that. I've got to give it a class name, and it's going to be sheet main. I don't want this to grow. Activate true and fast init true. These are important for these subwindows where we're hiding them. We do need to set activate and fast init true. There's some technical reasons for it, probably not as important just now. So main, what we need to do though, let's lock that, and this is just one of those things you've got to learn. We're going to Control C, Control V. I'm going to move it back over the top. I'm going to call this one inventory and charsheet inventory. Look, this one we're just going to join just to start with. Probably we'll we will replace that later on. Charsheet inventory, join inventory, that's fine. And let's do, oops, we want to lock that one as well. And let's duplicate it again. Control C, Control V, put it back into spot. This one's going to be called notes. And we've got charsheet notes over here. And we'll join again just to see what it looks like. But we also want to delete the other one that was there. So I'm going to copy this control and we'll move it over here. And this one is just called name, is just called not main, it was called abilities. That will delete that one. And we had a frame. So we had the overview frame, which is the one at the top that our name was living in. We've also probably got, no we don't. So the frames that were showing up in there in the character sheet here are actually inside this class, this window class, which is this one called charsheet main, charsheet abilities, charsheet inventory, and charsheet notes. Those frames actually exist within those. So we'll see what happens when we use our resized sub-windows that hold these, because they're probably close to as tall, but they're definitely not as wide, because we've got this other content over here. So let's see what we get here. We don't have to delete another frame here. We're just going to publish this and see if we get any errors and see if we get a little bit closer to what we're looking for. Switch back to Fantasy Grounds and reloading it. Looking at my character sheet, we've got our first error. And we went a fair way without getting an error. Okay. String, common scripts, button group, tabs, attempted index field. Okay. So what's happening here? We've got some tabs here, and abilities has gone to display, and abilities is associated with a tab called charsheet abilities, but we deleted that. I've created this control called abilities and set it to delete, but I didn't adjust the tabs. So we're probably going to have to go in here and quickly stick in some vertical tabs. Drag these over, position them up here. Now we only want 3 tabs. Now this is a bit funky here. What we've got is 150 pixels in height. We've got a little bit of a graphic at the top and a graphic at the bottom. So roughly we want to add 70 pixels to this. 150, 220 for the height. And you can see it's not quite right. If I zoom in here, it's not quite laid out perfectly smoothly. Do I want to make it longer or shorter? Haha. 224 looks pretty darn close. Okay, 224 pixels. Position's pretty good. We might nudge this a little bit closer to the edge of the page. And what that's going to do is let me make these frames here all a little bit wider. That helps. So make them instead of 370 wide, 380. About 390. Let's go 390. Let's go to abilities. Make it in abilities. How do we get it to show up here? Width. Come on. We might have to move it up. So we'll use these controls here. Send backward. Unlock it. Send it backward. And now we should be able to click on it. Maybe. Let's bring it forward. Still not quite right. 390. Done. I might have to move this frame. So unlock it. Shuffle it over a little bit. Then I can click on this one. Make it 390. I'll have to shuffle it over as well. if I can get to my third frame, 390, and now I have to move them all back. Okay, they're all on the right spot, but we've got to define our tabs now. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to select all these objects and lock them. They're in the right spot. Going to lock this one. Now let's go and edit the content for these. So we give it a name first. We want to use we're replacing the one in CoreRPG, which was called tabs. So we want to use the same name. So we'll call it tabs, and we go up here to collection. We click on it, hit the ellipsis, and we're going to add 3 tab definitions. Now the first one is icon main, subwindow name is charsheet main, icon inventory, charsheet inventory, icon notes, subwindow name is charsheet notes. Okay, let's go and see how we and we want to merge this as to replace. Okay, let's go and see where I got those from. So I called them icon main, icon inventory, and it should actually be called tab. So I'll need to fix those. So basically the information I was putting into my tab properties was the same information near the icon and the subwindow. But as you can see, I've got the incorrect name for the icon. It should be tab. Let's quickly fix those. Now what is tab inventory? Tab notes? There, it's actually just a graphic that has the word notes, main and inventory on it. And the graphic is 90 degrees rotated, so it fits on this tab here. Let's publish that and see what we see. Reloading the tabletop. Okay, we've got a second error. It's still in tabs Lua. Okay, and it still probably happened about the same time here as, because main has loaded, but abilities hasn't. So let's just dive in and try and find the bug there. What have we got here? We've got tabs called inventory, notes, and main. Let's go see what they look like in the core code. Main, inventory, and notes. Abilities we're deleting. Looks like it should be right. I've obviously missed something. Okay, after much messing about, I realized what I've done wrong. In my tabs, my vertical tabs, I didn't put the subwindow name, I put the window class that goes inside the subwindow down, and that was screwing it all up. So it should be tab main, main, tab inventory, inventory, and tab notes, notes. Now notes contains a subwindow. Sorry, notes is a subwindow which uses the class charsheet notes to fill that that subwindow up with. So let's have a look. I've got a blank. Sorry, I've got a blank window class called charsheet main. And what we might do for that one is, okay, this is 390 by 549. 390 by 549. So if we go over here and we give this one height. I think that was correct. Let's set the background color to red, and let's publish this. Reloading Fantasy Grounds, boot up our character. Okay, car sheet main loads. We've got a red frame there that's very, very, very jarring. Inventory loads correctly, and notes mostly loads correctly. So that's pretty good. What we have got is these two fields here. We can now see they actually come down just a little bit too low. We want to nudge all these text fields, or this text field, this text field, this text field, this text field. Let's nudge them up 3 pixels and see what we end up with. Unlock them. Let's just do them 2. Lock. And we'll just nudge these ones up 1 more pixel and see what we end up with. Okay, that's better. XP, what happens if we put some numbers in here? They fit okay, only just is fine. Okay, inventory works, notes works. Of course, we're going to replace this content. We're not going to leave a red box here. We're going to fill this up with good stuff. Alright, that's awesome. Thank you. That's it for this session.